Hey everyone, it's Mystery Girl with Missy, and I'm Missy. Welcome back. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers, my long-term subscribers and my new subscribers. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. I do have up my fair use disclaimer for all of the photos that I'm using. Today we're talking about the Gilgo Beach murders, specifically Peaches, also known as the girl with the peach tattoo, or as Jane Doe number 3. I'm also putting up my trigger warning for this video. The following video contains material that may be traumatizing for some audiences. This video is intended for audiences 18 and over. I've really been tossing this video around for a couple of months now, whether or not I should make it. But then I realized I make my cold case true crime videos to bring new eyes to the cases. And during one of my videos that I made on Gilgo Beach, I was trying to bring eyes to the other victims besides the Gilgo 4. And during that video, there was a comment that I thought I would never see, to be honest. I honestly didn't know what to do at the point when I saw the comment, and somebody had responded about Peaches. So we're going to get into what has been going on, what happened with those comments. They went back and forth for a while. We did come up with new information. The FBI has been informed. We've also informed Crime Stoppers, and we've also informed the New York Homicide Department. So authorities have been informed of the information that I'm about to give out to you, okay? I can honestly say I never thought one of my videos that I made to bring new light would possibly help identify a Jane Doe. So with that in mind, I want to go into a little bit for those that don't know about the Gilgo Beach murders. They happened on Long Island, New York, and they happened from, say, 1996 on. And recently they arrested Rex Heuerman for the Gilgo 4, which were the 4 young ladies that were located in the same area on Gilgo Beach. Now, you may have heard of Shannon Gilbert. Her lawyer has been really keeping the attention going on this case. Her name is mostly known when you talk about Gilgo Beach. But Peaches is still identified. And I'm going to get into Peaches right now, give you a little bit of a background about Peaches. We're going to go back in time in Long Island, New York, 1997, June to be exact. And the town is West Hempstead, New York. In June of 1997, a hiker found a dismembered woman in a green plastic bin in Hempstead Lake State Park in West Hempstead, New York, Nassau County. The woman had a heart-shaped peach tattoo. Her torso was found. Police believe she was dead for less than 36 hours and less than a week. Peach's torso was actually found in one of those tall green garbage bins, which was unbelievable. I mean, how do you do that to somebody? This case is actually hard for me to discuss because it's so many years later, and she still doesn't have a name. And I can't imagine family members, just friends, whatever, and they just think maybe they lost contact with her or whatever. Meanwhile, this poor woman has been murdered. We're going to go forward now 14 years to April 11th, 2011. Peaches' upper and lower extremities were found in 2011 with gold jewelry, and they were in a plastic bag. One of 2 remains found on this day in 1997. The second set of remains was a baby who is known as Baby Doe and has been found to be Peach's daughter. So not only was Peaches taken away from the world, but her daughter was as well. And she was only approximately 18 months old. And it's, extremely sad. And Peaches was believed to be anywhere between the age of 18 to 30 years old. And her lower and upper extremities were actually found on Gilgo Beach. So in 1997, her torso was found in West Hempstead. And then in 2011, her upper and lower extremities were found on Gilgo Beach. And the baby was linked to her through DNA. As of 2023, Peach's skull has yet to be found, and she has been unidentified for 26 years. And so I want to get into what this video specifically is about. So I made a video a couple of months ago when Rex Heuermann was identified as connected to and a suspect for the Gilgo 4. It was bothering me that the other victims were kind of being forgotten about and not mentioned. So instead of addressing and using my platform to bring eyes to the Gilgo 4 and Rex Heuermann, I wanted to use it as a time to get out the information about the other victims. The biggest thing to me was the MO on these were different. Peaches was decapitated. Her baby was with her. Yes, she was on Gilgo Beach, but it was a different MO. Like Rex's MO was the burlap sacks. So I said to myself, just Missy, make the video. You're feeling it, just go with it. So I made the video to bring attention to the other victims because I don't want them to be forgotten. And while when the video was out, I started getting comments on the video, and I read one that really caught my eye and stood out. And that's the one I want to talk to you about. So the comment that came through was, when was Peaches killed? I knew a Peaches in the early 80s in Fairfield, Connecticut. She loves snakes. I instantly did the math to find out if the age met Peaches' age frame that I had in my notes, and it did. So I responded, and then I received a response back that said, "That is terrible. She used it as a nickname. So sorry. Sad. She loves snakes, by the way, in Fairfield." Fairfield is in Connecticut. So she was murdered in New York, but doesn't mean that she lived in New York. It doesn't mean that she was from New York. She was a call girl. I want to keep it very respectful, and may have came to New York for work. So it's definitely a possibility that, she either came by train or was on a ferry or whatever. One of the other victims was also a resident of Connecticut. So it's definitely possible. So we continue to go back and forth, trying to figure out if things add up, time frames, her nationality, which the commenter did tell me that her skin was dark because her mom was Native American. So I'm going to get into, I wrote everything out to make it easier instead of posting every single comment. This way everything is together. So when the commenter gave me some information, I instantly researched the information to see if it was matching who Peaches was, time frames, ages, everything. So I tried to piece together everything that the commenter was telling me, and together, working together, her telling me what she knew about this person that she knew, and me researching to make sure that it adds up to the person that was found. We definitely thought we had information that we had to let authorities know, because so much of it was checking out. So I reached out to Crime Stoppers first, then I reached out to the FBI, and then I reached out to New York Homicide, because when I called Suffolk County Police Department in the beginning, they said Nassau is in charge of it. Then when I called Nassau, Nassau said that Suffolk is in charge of it. So I was kind of stuck. I was like, okay, who do I give this information to? So then I said, you know what? The FBI is involved. So I called the FBI and I did give them a full statement, gave them the information that I knew. And then I went on to Crime Stoppers and put the information there because, again, Nassau and Suffolk are telling me the other is responsible. So through Crime Stoppers, I figured whoever is in charge of this case can get the information through Crime Stoppers, and maybe look into this, and praying that, oh my God, this information could give Peaches and her baby girl a name. After 26 years. After 26 years, a simple comment that asked a simple question could identify a Jane Doe. Now, I'm not saying that this information is Peaches, but I want to get the information out because if you live in Connecticut and it sounds familiar to you, you can help. Before I get into it, I just want to make sure that I am putting out there that this information, I don't know if it's been investigated. We do not know if it is connected, but if it is, we want the information out. So maybe it can remind somebody else in Connecticut, and they may have more information to bring forward. Also, to this day, 2023, none of her family members have come forward or have identified any information. So we don't even know if she has any family. So, all right, let's get into it. If you do hear some paper moving, it's me changing the pages. You guys know I keep it real. So this is information for Peaches Jane Doe number 3, Baby Doe's mom. Her first name, I did ask the commenter, and her reply was she couldn't remember what her real first name was. She went by her nickname, which was Peaches, and she actually lived with her in the 1980s, and that was in Connecticut. I asked if she had remembered a last name. The commenter did not know. So what I did was I researched the address that she gave me, to see if I could check home records, house records, to get a last name. So she did know, she did remember what Peach's mom's first name was, and her first name was Lori. So I did have that to cross-reference. So the commenter, like I said, she didn't know the last name, so I researched the address, which was in Fairfield, Connecticut, where the commenter had actually lived with Peaches. So, again, we don't know if this is the same Peaches. So the name Lori Johnstone was attached to the address that she gave me. and the commenter had mentioned the name Lori, so those two had gone together. They matched. Peach's mother's first name, like I said, was Lori, and the commenter had lived with Peaches, renting a room from her in the 1980s. We do know that her nickname in Connecticut was Peaches. Now, is that just a coincidence that the police named Jane Doe number 3 Peaches because of her tattoo? Did she really go by that nickname? We do not know that. So I want to just make that very clear. We do not know if the victim and Jane Doe number 3 actually went by the nickname Peaches. That is what the police had given to her. But if she did go by the nickname Peaches, this information is coming together. So the year that she was born, Peaches would have been born anytime between 1963 and 1965. And this is from my research. I've been researching this since 1997, so I really had a ton of research on this. So I did the math, and the commenter was born in 1960. She said Peaches was about 2 to 3 years younger than she was, and she was 21 years old at the time that she knew Peaches. So if she was 2 to 3 years younger, that would make her 18, which falls in the age range of 16 to 30 that the police had determined that Peaches was. So, as this was going on, we're trying to put information together, and it's adding up. Again, there's no connection that we are 100% positive of. I just want to keep reminding you of that. I asked if she knew where Peaches was from, and she wasn't 100% sure on that. She didn't know. So from the information that we put together and speaking with the commenter, she lived in Fairfield, Connecticut in the 1980s, and she moved to Greenwich, Connecticut, or Stamford, Connecticut, with her boyfriend from the Cardinal Street address in Fairfield, Connecticut. And that's as per the commenter. Now, the connection to New York. The last time the commenter saw Peaches was in 1994. The commenter saw her on a train at Grand Central Station returning to Stamford or Greenwich on March 20th, 1994, which was a Sunday. The commenter was actually on their way back from WrestleMania with her daughter. So she was in New York in 1994, and her torso was found 3 years later in New York. So we do have, at least one connection to New York where she was seen in New York. Whether or not she had ever lived there, we do not know. Another connection to Connecticut. Now, this is from my research that, like I said, goes back to 1997, was her tattoo. There was a tattoo artist named Steve Cullen who claims that he did the tattoo. So Steve Cullen, actually, there's a video up of him talking about the tattoo and how he thought it was so unique because it was like there was a bite taken out of the tattoo. So how he is explaining this absolutely matches what the tattoo looked like on Peaches. So the name of the tattoo place is Phantom Ink Tattoo, and it's at 112 East Main Street in Bristol, Connecticut, 06010. Now, Bristol, Connecticut is 56 minutes from Fairfield and 1 hour and 13 minutes from Greenwich. So it is definitely possible. The tattoo parlor, it opened in 1990. So all of it adds up. It all adds up. You have the tattoo, You have a tattoo artist explaining exactly what the tattoo looks like with the bite out of it, saying that he remembers it because it was very unique because of that. He made a video on it, and he did tell authorities about that. So here is that other connection to Peaches and the tattoo. Again, we do not know if it's the same Peaches, but this gentleman is saying he did the tattoo, which would connect him and her together. And he had said that she had come in with one or two other women, and they were talking about New York, and that she had said that she was in Connecticut to get away from her boyfriend at the time. So it places her there, and it places her in New York. Some information about the tattoo. The tattoo was done on her left breast. Said she was approximately 18 to 19. That was Steve Cullen. Said that she was approximately 18 to 19 years old when she got the tattoo. This would be when my commenter knew her. Steve Cullen stated that the client came in with two women. I'm sorry, it was two women. And that they were actually from Bronx, New York, on Long Island, New York, and they were in Connecticut, again, because she was having problems with her boyfriend. So, according to my research, if Peaches was born between 1963 and 1965, and the artist says that she was 18 or 19 at the time, this would be around 1981 to 1984. Now, the one thing that I question with that little bit right there is the shop didn't open until 1990. So she would have been older when she got the tattoo. So she would still fall in that age time range, if you understand what I'm saying. So the commenter stated that she did know Peaches in the 1980s, but she couldn't remember if there was a tattoo or not. So we're going to get into her hair next, okay? I did ask the commenter if she knew anything about Peaches' hair, and she didn't remember the length, I guess, but she did remember that it was curly. She didn't know her eye color, and through the research that I did, I couldn't find anything that stated her eye color either. Through my research, I was able to find out that Peaches was approximately 5 feet 7 inches tall. So she was about an average height for a woman. Her weight, I wasn't able to find concrete evidence on it. Some articles did, newspaper articles did state that the frame was overweight. I can't confirm that though, so I really don't know about the weight. I asked her if she could tell me a little bit about her mom. And she, like I said, she told me that her mother's first name was Lori. And that she was Native American, and that there was a reservation not too far away from them in Kent, Connecticut, that's called the Shakatoke Reservation. I am so sorry if I am pronouncing that wrong, but this is what the conversation was, and that in the 1980s, Peaches lived with the commenter on Cardinal Street in Fairfield, Connecticut. She did mention that Peaches and her mom didn't always get along. They argued very often, but that's basically what I was able to, talk about as far as her mom. The Indian reservation, by the way, borders New York boundaries. Kent and Litchfield County borders west of Dutchess County, New York. So, here's another connection that, it was very close. If they were part of the reservation, I can't confirm. but this is between the conversation between me and the commenter. She did not know her father's name, her biological father's name, so there was no information as far as a biological father. Now, she did have a stepfather. His name was Willie. I don't know if that's a nickname for William or something else, but that was his nickname. He was possibly Hungarian, the commenter said. And the last known address for him was also on Cardinal Street in Fairfield, Connecticut. She did have a half-brother whose name was Peter David. This is as per the commenter. And the last known address for him was also Cardinal Street in Fairfield, Connecticut. Peaches was a few years older than her half-brother, maybe 3 years, as per the commenter. So me and the commenter, we discussed a lot. We went back and forth. We discussed a lot. Like I said, some of the information that she gave me, I went in and I researched. So we were able to kind of piece everything together and check time frames. It's a lot of information, and I just hope that it does lead to a identification for Peaches. And if you recognize anything in this photo, a piece of jewelry, if you're from Connecticut or New York, if you recognize any of this and had a friend or a relative with the nickname of Peaches, and any of this adds up to you, either put a comment in my comments and I'll attach it to my information that I sent to Crime Stoppers, or you can go online to either Suffolk or Nassau County Crime Stoppers, and you can open up a lead which is anonymous and send in the information that and tell them that you saw it on this video because they are aware of the other video. And they can put everything together because all this information they already have. So I did ask the commenter how she knew Peaches, and she says that, again, in the 1980s, that she had lived with her and with her husband before they had their first son, and that the commenter had rented. So that is how she knew her at that time. Now, Peach's occupation, she was an exotic dancer at the time when the commenter knew her. Now, she was a Craigslist prostitute at the time that she was taken away. So she thought that the address was on Fairfield in Black Rock, Bridgeport. So I instantly jumped on, started looking for information, and did more research. And I was able to locate a place called Ruby's 2. And it's located at 2362 Fairfield Avenue in Bridgeport, Connecticut. So this is located in Black Rock section of Bridgeport. Key principal of company is Richard Seller, and they've been in business for over 20 years. So it is definitely a possibility that it went back to, the 80s or the 90s. I'm not exactly sure when the place opened, but when I did the research to see if the address matched, this is what came up. I also researched to see if there was any specific marks or features that Peaches may have had, besides the peach tattoo on her left breast. She also had a 6-inch horizontal surgical scar on the lower abdomen, which could have possibly been from her C-section, if she had a C-section. But again, that is from my research. Nobody ever reported Peaches missing. Nobody that is known anyway. And again, she was found in 1997, possibly on the 25th of June. Her torso was discovered in Lakeview, New York, near Hempstead Lake State Park in a Rubbermaid container, discovered by a hiker in the woods area. The head was never located as of 2023. Both arms, both legs, below the knee were severed. The body torso was discovered on June 28th of 1997. On April 11th of 2011, her lower body and upper extremities were found with the gold jewelry in a plastic bag near Jones Beach State Park along Ocean Parkway and near Gilgo Beach. 6 days before Peaches was found, Baby Doe was found approximately on April 4th, 2011. She was, I guess the medical examiner determined that she was between 18 to 24 months. And in 2016, DNA positively identified Baby Doe belonging to Peaches. And that was in December of 2016. And I just want to also get into how the differences are between the Gilgo 4 and the other murders that were found on Gilgo Beach. As far as the conversation with the commenter, we were able to put together the tattoo parlor, the exotic dancing, match Conneticut to New York, match the nickname of Peaches, the skin tone of looking Native American, dark skin, came from her mom, was able to match the house being rented from a woman named Lori. So between her information and my research, a lot of it matches up. But again, is it the Peaches that is from the Gilgo 4? That's to be determined by the investigation. I did go a little further in. I wanted to see the differences between the Gilgo Beach murders and Peaches, and I was able to find 4 people that were actually murdered very similar to, Peaches being one of the 4 that were murdered similarly, which was Peaches in Hempstead, 1997, who was found in a Rubbermaid bin. Then there was Jane Doe number 7, who was found to be Karen Vergata. She was found in 1996 on Fire Island, and she was also decapitated and put into a black garbage bag. Valerie Mack, who was found in Manorville in 2000, also decapitated and found in garbage bags. And Jessica Taylor, who was also found in Manorville in 2003 and found decapitated in plastic sheet. All found body parts between 2000 and 2011 on Oak Beach and Ocean Parkway. So they were found in one place, and then the other half of their body was actually found on Ocean Parkway near Oak Beach and Gilgo Beach. All 4 were found in garbage bags except for Peach's torso, which was found in a garbage bin. They were all placed in some kind of garbage removal between 1996 and 2003. All remaining or additional body parts were found again on Ocean Parkway between 2010 and 2011. So those 4 are very different than Rex Heuermann's MO. He used burlap sacks. They were found decapitated in some form of a garbage bin or garbage bag, which is much different than Rex Heuermann's MO. They just happen to be in the same location. That's the one weird thing. But I did have the commenters' permission to make this video and put this information out because both of us really want Peaches to have a name, her and her baby girl. They deserve a name, and that's why I make the videos that I make. That hopefully it will bring new eyes, which it did bring some eyes to this commenter, and we're just praying that the information that she's bringing forward does help in identifying her. Now, is it her? We don't know. So what we want to do is get this information out to other people in both New York and Connecticut, See if the jewelry you recognize, the tattoo, the identification, her mom's name, the dance club, if any of that, if you might know this same Peaches, it could be somebody totally different, or it could be her. So let's work together and try to figure out, is there more information that could help Peaches be identified after 23 years? This poor girl deserves a name. If you know something, put it in the comments. Call Crime Stoppers, email Crime Stoppers. You just, Google it and put the information in, and mention this video to them and tell them that there's another video on my channel that has the whole conversation between me and the commenter, and that there is already tips with the FBI, homicide, and Crime Stoppers. And I did have the commenter's permission to do that as well. We worked together very well, her giving me information, me researching to put the pieces together and make sure it all adds up. And most of it did. So hopefully this information can give Peaches a name. Guys, thank you for being here, and until next time, if you see something, say something. Remember, every day is a mystery. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you soon.